Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. So, Jack the Rippler just released this. This is directly from Inside R3, aka R3's Twitter account, their primary profile, and they're talking about Corda to settle with XRP. This is literally a 1 minute and 30-second video talking about the back end connecting with regarding oracles and XRP and settling rather than with the US dollar with XRP at the actual price at time of payment. This is really cool. Highly recommend you check this out.
Back an updated obligation.
Close this off so I don't get copyright purposes. But again, you can see everything that goes on this via the command prompts and seeing what goes on with this. So very cool with that. And a lot of people still think this is speculation, but Corda, I mean, we already know R3 owns XRP. They have a vested interest, as I say time and time again. And again, I do repeat myself in every single video because there are a lot of newcomers and we never know when someone is looking into XRP for the very first time. So again, Corda, decentralized platform, open source platform. It is not necessarily decentralized, it is a permissioned blockchain. So a lot of these institutions in terms of trade finance and different types of obligations want to settle. They are 300 plus at this point. They are massive, and we are talking trillions of dollars. Of course, we focus on Ripple and what we can see today because we do have ODL on-demand liquidity live, but this is something that is speculative, and if long-term they decide to use XRP, which again was named the first settlement mechanism, this could potentially be massive. And then this, I did want to cover this because I forgot to mention this in my previous video. So right here with QNT, so Quant, remember they are the Overledger, they utilize Overledger as well. We can see Binance Chain interoperability. So of course we see these enterprise permission blockchains, as I've already said, Corda is permissioned, Hyperledger, Ethereum, Quorum, and Ripple. And then we also have these other groups as well, these public permissionless blockchains. So we got Bitcoin, Stellar, EOS, IOTA, and Ethereum. Now Overledger can potentially connect for their, Binance Chain interoperability, which uses Quant. All right, they need to own Quant for this to actually work effectively and connect right to Binance Chain. So what I was saying in my previous video is not financial advice, but the way I think is I want to invest in projects that I see where they are integrated, where they are connected, where things are being built upon, where, things of that nature. So again, these projects right here, even if you do not like some of this technology, if you don't like XLM, if you do not like Bitcoin, if you don't like EOS, IOTA, Ethereum, you know what? And then XRP, of course, with Ripple, and it's not a bad idea. For me, I like to diversify. Even though 90% for full transparency of my holdings is XRP, I've been, accumulating for a few years now, and I really do see the long-term potential in these assets. I know a lot of people have seen are in the green, but anyone that may have gotten on in the last 2 years, you might be down a little bit. But the idea is to dollar cost average so you can bring down that break-even point and get closer and closer and closer. So again, when things do take off, because do not be fooled, we are still so very early, you will be in the green massively. Right here, so Matthew Linney sharing this. I do not know how to pronounce this German bank, this Deutsche Bank or group. And again, Swisscom successfully settling security tokens in Switzerland using interoperable distributed ledger technology. So again, as we can see here, they settle security transactions via tokens in Switzerland. The POC lays the foundation for a leap in efficiency in post-trade services settlement of security transactions using different DLT protocols. So they're continuing to experiment. This was on the 19th of November, so very cool to see that. And then again, securities settlement with DLT right at the center. We see both of these blockchains. We see Corda, again, which has XRP interoperability, which is key because they want to choose the most secure consensus mechanism on the best blockchain, and they want to use the fastest asset long term once the necessary liquidity is established. It's a multifaceted approach. All right, and then we have Hyperledger Fabric as well. So again, with the smart contract applications that they decide to use, time will tell. But that is why I'm investing in these assets. Of course, it's risky, but risk is where the money is potentially made. And I do personally expect life-changing wealth because my greatest fear is being like everybody else. And I simply do not want to know and look back at my life 30 years from now and say, I was afraid to take the chance. Again, money comes and goes. It's simply energy. And we can always replenish it long term. And I can try to live below my means for the time being and, delay this instant gratification in order to, do something that a lot of people may not do in the future. That's my thought process. All right, right here, we're going to finish off with this XRP Crypto Wolf. So XRP liquidity index has now surpassed 6 million on Bitso and recorded a new all-time high. Seems we're seeing this every single day, just like the S&P 500, typically has been going up and up and up. Again, we could see a reversal at any point because each day it does that, becomes more and more likely. And again, Twitter's liquidity index bot has actually been reporting that the liquidity of Ripple's on-demand liquidity, which uses solely XRP, the corridor hit an all-time high, over 6 million. So again, the XRP in Mexican peso represented 65% of the total volume on the Bitso exchange. This is what we want to see. This is what we're talking about when we're saying ramping up. It's pretty crazy to think that in all of 2019, this quarter, we've already been, hitting the higher index in terms of ODL usage than the entire year. In what was that, the month of October alone? We have not seen anything yet. They're slowly scaling up. Obviously, the Mexican, corridor. We have the Philippine peso corridor. We have these other corridors that are launching as well that we got news from Swell. I am here for the long term. We are finally seeing progress. I did not short last week. I wish I did. I wish, I would have loved to be a phenomenal trader, sell a bunch of XRP and buy in lower when it dropped. But again, this market is so manipulated. It's so nascent. It really is kind of like gambling when you are trading. There are some really good traders I watch and, I try to play with some smaller positions, but I have a bag of XRP I will never touch. And I do swing trade some altcoins. Sometimes I'm profitable. Sometimes I lose my position a little bit, but that's just part of the risk. And I believe that, since we are so early, when things finally begin to really move up, it won't really matter. At the end of the day, long term, none of this is going to matter, guys. So I just wanted to share my point of view. I want you guys to let me know, because if you guys are getting bored with XRP coverage, you're saying, you know what, this is one of the best assets, best, partnerships, applications today, and obviously the most obvious need in terms of cross-border payments, and then now even talking about e-commerce as well. What other assets do you want me to cover? I know I've gotten requests for Cardano, ADA. I've gotten VET, VeChain. I've gotten requests for Link, Chainlink. I've gotten requests for, a whole bunch of altcoins. I want you guys to let me know. I will try to cover some more and more, because there is still news and information, and I do think that they will potentially see some phenomenal gains, potentially even more than XRP, but it's just my personal belief, granted it may be confirmation bias, that long term, the asset with the highest percent gained will be the one used on a mass scale, and that is why I'm most bullish on XRP. We already know the CEO of the Coinfield Exchange in Canada, Bob Ross, however you pronounce his last name, said literally, XRP's technology is simply better than Ethereum. We've already seen the Bitcoin bull run. We've seen the Ethereum bull run. I have a friend that bought Ethereum under $8. Some people were lucky enough to see it under $1. Well, now it's XRP's turn. And I cannot tell you when that will be, but I am just, continuing to pile up my bags, because I am bullish, guys. We are actually seeing true application and utility today. And again, I don't want to make these videos to, reassure you, but I do want to make these videos to inform you, to get this information out there so you guys can do your own research, get multiple sources. If you think I am, full of it, that is fine. Let's just see what happens in the years to come, guys. I've done the research. I've been following the data. I try to just give my thoughts really quick and a few bullet points in each of these videos, because I know what's coming, and a lot of other people do too. There's been a lot of people in big positions with non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, and they cannot release everything, but they try to leave, little hints and breadcrumbs out. But at this point, when you're following Ripple and all their connections, it's almost like they're leaving loaves of bread, yet the media says otherwise, and a lot of people don't really realize to challenge the status quo. Things are happening on the back end. Why on earth would Ripple, a little startup that did raise and is worth billions, is meeting with the IMF and World Bank? And you guys can say, oh, well, that doesn't matter. XRP has nothing to do with it. Really? Because I think it does, and I think the XRP ledger could play a fundamental role in creating this level playing field, especially if they decide to put commodities or any form of pegged or stablecoins running on these ledgers. This is truly groundbreaking technology, guys. We are so early. You have to not look at your portfolio. I've been doing a practice that I'm not even looking at the prices unless I'm actually looking to buy, every couple days or so. I'm trying not to look at the price. I'm trying to do what Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, does. Focus on long term. Don't even, this doesn't matter right now. They're still ramping up. We're waiting for regs. We're at the very, very beginning. And again, this is the XRP community. You guys are the XRP army. I absolutely love everybody that has supported me. I love everybody that's criticized me. It doesn't matter because I know what is coming, and I've probably said that 50 times so far, and it probably sounds like I'm just trying to convince myself, but it doesn't matter, guys. To each their own. I am going down with this ship, and I'll be a hero or a zero. And I saw Mr. B say that as well, so much respect. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know a few altcoins that you guys want me to look into and cover. I do look into probably like a good 5 or so, but it's just hard to keep up with everything. So I'll probably have to do some bigger deep dives before I talk about them in videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.